Have you found yourself wondering, why do I feel worse right now? It's summer. Everyone is enjoying vacation, soaking up the sunshine, all these bright, beautiful colors and wonderful food. So why do I feel overwhelmed and more anxious, more depressed, and like I just want to avoid people? If that sounds familiar, you are not alone. Today, we're going to explore three possible reasons your nervous system may be struggling this summer, and more importantly, give you some practical tools to help you find your footing again. Do you want to achieve your goals, but anxiety is tripping you up? Like to keep those fun weekend plans, but depression has you canceling again? Hey, I'm Lori, dog mom, lover of nature, and hygge enthusiast. Positive psychology skills help me overcome chronic severe PTSD. If you're ready to learn how to overcome your anxiety and depression and rediscover happiness and purpose in life, then get your cozy on and let's get started. Welcome back to Practical Solutions for PTSD. Now, if I'm counting correctly, obviously I'm recording this before I publish it, but I'm fairly certain this is episode number 95. We are so close to 100 episodes. Can you believe that? I am so excited. This has been such a blessing on this journey with Practical Solutions for PTSD. And the fact that we are approaching 100 episodes is blowing my mind. This has been such an incredible journey. This podcast has really never been just about the numbers. It's always been about helping people, shining a light in darkness that people are walking through, and helping you guys to know there's hope. There's hope in that dark, and there's a way out, one step at a time. So if you're dealing with overwhelm, anxiety, isolation, or you just feel like you're alone in this journey, healing is possible, and there's people to come alongside and help you with that. So every time you download an episode, every time you listen to something, or every time I see that number come up when I'm checking stats at the end of the month, that's a person at the other end of this microphone that is receiving help from this podcast. And it is such a blessing to know that that is happening. I don't know how many of y'all are familiar with how podcasts work. I didn't. Before I got into this, I had no idea how all this stuff worked. But podcasts grow almost entirely because listeners tell other people about it one way or the other. So I want to encourage you today that if this episode, or this podcast rather, has encouraged you, taught you something, or helped you through a difficult time, would you please reach out to someone else and let them know? Our mission is to help people, to let them know they can make it through this time, that there's practical tools that they can put in place, to let them know there's hope in the darkness that they're in. And you can help accomplish that mission. You can help see this move forward. And you can do that by following the podcast on whatever platform that you're on. You can leave a review if you haven't already. Share your favorite episode. If there is one that has really resonated with you, you can share that on Facebook or Instagram or email or text somebody, whatever. You can text an episode to a friend who is struggling and you're like, man, this would help so-and-so so much. And you could text that episode to them, or simply telling people about the podcast. And I know some of y'all are on it because you tell me, like, you come back and like, man, I tell everybody I know about this and I'm so excited to share the news. So the more people who share this, the more people we can help together. Because this is not about me. It's about a mission. We are locking arms together to reach out to people and to help them to know there is hope in the dark. And these are ways that you can help other people do that. So as we approach the 100th episode, I don't want it to just be a celebration of 100 episodes, which is amazing. And I'm still a bit in awe about this. But my hope and my prayer is that episode 100 will find somebody new who desperately needs hope in the darkness that they're in, that they may be in what they feel is impenetrable darkness, and there's no way out of it. I want to be able to shine a light into that. And that 100th episode, if we can reach one new person on that episode and let them know there's hope and there's a way through this. There's some practical tools that can help you overcome anxiety, handle your PTSD, break through depression, manage your stress, build some boundaries, and have some healing. So first and foremost, I want to thank you for listening. because I would not be here if it was not for you. This would be a one person show that would end very abruptly if it wasn't for my amazing listeners on the other side of this microphone. So, thank you so much for listening. And thank you for every single time that you share this in whatever way that is. If it's a word of mouth, posting on socials, following, commenting, whatever you do, thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything that you do to help this grow. And this has been such an incredible community. I am so honored and so blessed to be part of that and to be working with you to be able to accomplish this mission. And I truly, truly could not do this without you. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. So we may never know whose life changes because you shared, you followed, you commented, you liked, whatever that may be. But someone on the other end is going to pick that up because of what you did to help spread the news, and it's going to get out to the next person. So thank you so much for everything that you're doing. I know I'm taking a little bit long on this, but we are approaching our 100th episode. And that is really cool. And I want you to be part of this celebration, and I want us to lock arms and continue on and help other people. So, we're going to jump into the episode today, which I'm pretty excited about. I want to be able to share some reasons why you may be struggling this summer. And it could be some very valid reasons. But if you're in this position where you're like, man, summer is supposed to be the season of happiness and joy. The commercials are saying that we should be outside traveling and spending time with friends and making memories. But inside you're feeling more anxious, you're emotionally exhausted, you're irritable, overwhelmed, you feel lonely even though you're standing in the middle of a crowd, you're struggling with depression, and maybe you're wondering, why am I struggling when everybody around me is thriving? I mean, they're just having such a great time in the summertime, and I'm over here barely putting one foot in front of the other. So, today we're going to explore three possible reasons this could be happening. And one is summer seasonal affective disorder, second one is stress overload, and the third is trauma response. There could be something that's happening in the summer that is triggering your trauma. So, summer SADS is very real. It is less common than winter depression, winter, which is what I have. I have winter seasonal affective disorder, but it can also have this in the summer. Some possible symptoms would be difficulty sleeping in the summer. You have a decreased appetite, agitation, could have a lot of restlessness. You're dealing with anxiety symptoms, high levels of irritability, feeling just emotionally off, like something just doesn't fit, and loss of enjoyment of stuff that you truly do enjoy, but you're just not feeling any of it right now. So there are some clear contributors to this that are directly tied to summer SADS. And one of those is the long daylight hours. Now, I've talked about this before in previous episodes of SADS. They don't know everything that's behind SADS, but they do believe that a big part of it is hormone fluctuation, specifically with things like serotonin and melatonin. Now, serotonin is a feel-good hormone. It gives you energy, etc. Melatonin is the one that helps you sleep at night. Well, when we have the really long daylight hours, your melatonin decreases because it's getting so much light, it's not producing as much melatonin. Now, in the fall time, when you're not getting enough daylight hours, you got too much melatonin, and that's why you just want to curl up and sleep. In the summertime, it's decreased. Another one is the heat. And when I'm recording this, we're in a major heat wave right now with heat warnings out, and it's just miserable. It's like day 3 here. It's really hot. And you just don't really want to do anything but sit in a chair with a fan blowing on. You're like, I'm dying. Heat can also affect your mood more so than just a normal person. That heat can impact someone who deals with seasonal affective disorder. The friend of mine that has summer SADS, when it gets to August, it's like her tolerance is gone. She just cannot handle it anymore. It's too much hot. And so heat can affect that. Another big one is a disruption to your circadian rhythm. With the longer days, more daylight hours, it screws up your sleep, and you're not getting to sleep as early, or maybe you're waking up earlier than normal because the sun is up so early, and that disruption to your circadian rhythm can have a huge impact on your emotional well-being. Another one that I've been struggling with lately is dehydration. Dehydration can impact your mood. And when you're out in the summer in the heat, the longer days, etc., you're going, you're not drinking as much, and this can have a really big impact on how you're feeling. The final contributor is overstimulation. There's so much going on and there's so much you're trying to keep up with that you're just getting overstimulated. And so your system starts shutting down because you can't handle it anymore. So those are the possible contributors for seasonal affective disorder. But one thing you want to really pay attention to is your body may simply not regulate well during the summer months. And this is part of what happens with me in the winter, particularly January. That's a really bad month for me. But your system is just under a lot of stress because of everything that is going on right now, which makes even little things magnified because you're already stressed to the max. It's like walking on the edge of a cliff. If you have one misstep, you're falling down the cliff. Whereas, suppose if you are 5 feet away from it and you have a misstep, okay, you may fall, but it's not a big deal. You can just pick yourself up and keep going. So, if your emotional system is on the edge of that cliff already because summer is just, you're really struggling with that, your system's not regulating itself very well, little irritations can become big issues. So, let's move on to the second cause, and that is stress. Now, stress typically has a visible source. We can generally track down where the stress is coming from. It could be your kids are home from school, and that really throws a monkey wrench into your routines because you're used to them not being there. You're used to being able to go to the office and do your job or go run your errands or whatever without having kids everywhere because they're normally in school. So when they're home, it can really throw things off. Not in a bad way. I mean, it's great to have them there, but it's just, your systems are messed up. I'm going on vacation. Everything seems to be thrown off when you're on vacation. Now, I just came off of a mini vacation, and I'll tell you, my sleep cycles are messed up right now, and I'm getting having to get back into the routines and all that kind of stuff. Vacation is wonderful, and we need that, but it can also throw us off and can cause stress. There's financial pressure. Maybe it's all the money that you have to spend to go on that vacation, or whatever it may be. It could be causing financial pressure. Maybe family is coming to visit, and that could be both good and bad. You have busy schedules trying to keep up with getting to camps and, going on vacation and doing all these special things that you want to do in the summertime. It just makes your schedule just crazy busy. There could be a lot of work demands going on right now that is making it hard to keep up with everything. And as I said earlier, your routines could be messed up, and the lack of routines can really impact your emotional well being. And just a side note here, if you don't have routines in your life, and most of us have something, but if you don't have routines or enough of them, establishing routines can help you regulate your nervous system better and can bring peace and calm, a little bit of that into your life. But in the summertime, those are often disrupted. And you have this feeling that I just have so much on my plate, I don't know how to handle that. Now, some common symptoms you're going to have with stress, you're going to be dealing with fatigue, overwhelm, struggling with forgetfulness, like you just cannot remember everything that's on that list, that mental list that you're running. Or if you write it down, you see this huge long list, you're like, I can't do this. It could, the tension that you're dealing with, short temper. This could be just from the heat. Even if you don't have seasonal affective disorder, when you're having to deal with this miserable heat, it can just make you short tempered because you're tired and you're just off. You could have difficulty concentrating. All of these are connected, can be symptoms connected to stress. Now, the good news is that if you can identify what is causing the stress, what is it? Like I said earlier, they're typically visible things that are stressors. So if you can identify the cause, then you can start putting things in place to help mitigate that and to help you get that stress under control, which will help you to be able to get your nervous system regulated and have a more peaceful summer. So let's talk about the third reason why summer may be a little difficult for you, and that is trauma response. Now, trauma is different than the other two because the current situation isn't always the real problem. Instead, today's circumstances could be reminding your nervous system of dangers that you faced in the past. So, some examples of that could be that, fireworks that are going off 100 feet away are not dangerous to you, but your nervous system is remembering explosions from the past. A family cookout that isn't unsafe, it's all good, but your nervous system is remembering years in the past when you dealt with criticism or conflict. You could be going to a crowded amusement park that isn't inherently threatening, but your brain remembers never knowing who was safe or feeling that feeling of loss or loneliness or disconnection, whatever that could be. So, trauma response often involves hypervigilance, emotional shutdown, panic, avoidance, numbness, irritability, or feeling exhausted after social interaction. So the question becomes, is this situation actually dangerous? Or does it remind my nervous system of something that once was dangerous? So I've mentioned this before. Trauma, specifically like PTSD, is post traumatic stress syndrome. So it's looking to things in the past that is driving that anxiety, that's triggering it in the present. Or it could be a fear that you have in the future that's triggering your anxiety, but it's not necessarily the immediate thing right in front of you that is really driving that. So this is where the trauma response would come in. And you can be dealing with those triggers in the summertime as you're going to, see the fireworks or having a big family cookouts or whatever that could be. It could be triggering some of that trauma response for you. Now, the tricky thing is with all of this is that they can overlap. You can have summer heat plus poor sleep plus work stress plus trauma triggers all at the same time. So you could be dealing with, summer sads and stress and trauma all at the same time. Your nervous system doesn't neatly separate these emotions into little tiny boxes when you're dealing with it. You could just be going like, ah, I feel really overwhelmed right now. So the more important thing, more important than identifying, in this case, more important than identifying the problem is to listen to your body, pay attention to what it's telling you, and start treating that specifically. And I'm going to walk you through some things you can do. But one thing you can use to try to help filter through some of this, here's some prompts that you can ask yourself. Does this feeling or did this feeling begin because the season changed? Is that when I started feeling this? Did it begin after something stressful happened? Or does this feeling show up in familiar situations even when nothing seems wrong? So, like every time we have a family gathering, I'm getting trauma responses. It's not necessarily tied to the season or some specific stressful event, but it's just like every time I go there, I'm dealing with this. And again, the answer may be more than one, and that's okay because you could be having some overlap here. It may be a combination. But I want to get down to where the rubber meets the road. We're going to give you some practical tools. So rather than trying to spend all your time diagnosing yourself, let's focus on ways to support your nervous system. So if it feels seasonal, when you ask that question that it came up and because of season change or it's different right now, here's some things you can do that is so important. Number one is to protect your sleep. So critical because this is when your body does its healing, your mind does its healing is in sleep. Very important. Another one is to stay hydrated. That is a huge key. Stay hydrated. Cool your environment. I am so thankful for air conditioning right now and fans, the two of them together. Oh, I wouldn't trade them for anything. But cool your environment. Spend time outdoors during the cooler parts of the day. It will help you with your hormone production, your vitamin D, your serotonin, melatonin, all that. It will really help with that. And then, as much as possible, maintain routines. And I know it's not always possible with vacationing and, people coming in to visit and all these late night cookouts, but do your very best to maintain them as much as you can. If it feels like stress, like there's a specific instance that happened that made you feel this way, reduce unnecessary commitments. And I know much easier said than done, but do your best. Reduce unnecessary commitments. Practice healthy boundaries. This is just so crazy how often this is coming up lately. There's got to be some people this is speaking to. Practice healthy boundaries. Ask for help. I know this can be difficult, especially for those of you who are independent like me. It's hard to ask for help sometimes, but it's important. If you're dealing with stress that is getting you to the point of feeling overwhelmed, ask for help. Simplify your schedule. And this can be really difficult to do if you've got a lot of irons in the fire, too much on your plate, but try to get that down to the bare bones. You don't have to go to every engagement. Here's your official permission slip. You can say no or just go for a few minutes. You don't have to be there for the whole thing. And then your last one is to prioritize recovery time. This is really important because it'll help you to face the next situation that comes up. Prioritize recovery time. So if the situation that is causing you the overwhelm feels like trauma, I want you to try some grounding exercises. Now, you can literally go stand on the ground or lay on the ground for a grounding exercise. It's a good time to do it in the summer. But you can also do some other exercises. Get yourself, look at things that are around you that are safe and encouraging and make you smile. Go work through your 5 senses. What can I see, smell, hear, etc. Slow your breathing down. Breathing exercises are very powerful, a great way to regulate your nervous system. And then orient yourself to your surroundings. Again, you can use your 5 senses to help you do that, to help you realize you're not in the past, you're in the present, and whatever dangers you faced in the past that is causing the trauma response are not there right now. So orient yourself to your surroundings. Use self-compassion instead of self-criticism. Don't sit there and criticize yourself for feeling bad when it's a trauma response. It's okay. It's okay that this is happening. Just use some tools to try to manage it, but it's okay. You don't have to don't criticize yourself over it. And then seek trauma-informed support when appropriate. Don't be afraid to reach out for help. So important. And this here, I want you just a reminder, this is not a diagnostic podcast. If you need professional help, please get it. That is my single greatest regret, is that I didn't do that earlier. So if you need help, please ask for help. Now, I've gone through this whole thing where we are identifying where the emotions are coming from and some practical tools to help you out, some questions to try to narrow down what category you're in. But I want to remind you that you do not have to perfectly identify the source of every difficult emotion before you can begin caring for it yourself. So whether you're struggling is rooted in summer sads or is ongoing stress or unresolved trauma or a combination of all three, your nervous system is sending information. It's not issuing a verdict about your worth. So again, emotions are not bad things. Whether the emotion is good or bad, it's just data. It's just data. It's telling you something. The goal isn't to become an expert at labeling every feeling. You don't need to do that. It's to become more skilled at listening with curiosity instead of judgment. Listening to yourself, listening to those emotions that are coming up, getting the data out of that without judgment. Because healing often begins with replacing one question. Just kind of flip the script a little bit. Instead of saying, what's wrong with me? Look at it this way. What might my mind and body need right now? What are they telling me right now? And how do I need to address that? I want you to take a moment, take a deep breath, and know that there's a way out of this. There's some practical steps that you can take that can help you deal with the overwhelm that you're dealing with right now. And I look forward to seeing you back here next time as we take one more step, one more episode towards our 100th. A quick reminder, as we approach our 100th episode, be sure to like, share, follow, comment, however you want to do that to get the word out about the podcast and help us celebrate 100 episodes. Hey, my friend, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you please take 30 seconds and share it with someone you know who may be struggling with depression and anxiety? Also, would you please leave a quick review for the show? Knowing how this podcast is helping you fills my heart with so much joy, and it motivates me for future episodes. For now, it's time for Sam and I to head outside to enjoy some sunshine and fresh air. We'll see you back here on Tuesdays and Thursdays for more great episodes.